leading to the general uplift to their society. Another way I focus on American community advancement is through the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, shortened as NAACP. It is a biracial civil rights organization that focuses on advancing justice within the African American community. In NAACP's early days, its anti-lynch campaign was central to its agenda. It's nice in Atlanta today. It's a beautiful crowd I see. As most of you know, I was born into slavery in 1856. The Civil War between the North and South just ended in 1865, and now is the time to reconstruct the United States. And we need to start with Black education. My idea was in contrast with Mr. Du Bois, who is much less willing to compromise to get better living conditions for Negroes in America. I believe that through hard work, Blacks can achieve the same rights as the whites. We should avoid political and civil rights battles. We should continue farming and doing manual work. We should become property owners. We should become property owners and merchants. If we continue and do all of this, I believe we will create our own thriving, self-sufficient communities. To those of my race, I said in my Atlanta compromises, cast down your bucket where you are. Cast it down in merchants and make friends with your southern white man, who is your next door neighbor. Cast it down in architecture, mechanics, and commerce. In domestic service, no race can prosper till it learns there is as much dignity in tilling the field as in writing home. It is at the bottom of life we must begin, and not at the top. We need to put action into these words, and I certainly did. In 1881, I founded Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. It was one of the very few all-Black schools, and the purpose of this was to train my community in agriculture and industry and to promote economic growth. The other day, I was listening to Mr. Washington Atlanta Compromise speech. I will send him a letter to congratulate him. A letter from me. Let's have a look here, shall we? Let me heartily congratulate you upon your phenomenal success at Atlanta. It was a word rightfully spoken. July 6, 1904 in New York City. At the Carnegie Hall, Booker T. Washington and W. Du Bois was on a committee together called the Committee of 12, where they was exchanging ideas for the advancement of the Negro race. In 1881, when Booker T. Washington first went to Tuskegee, there was just land. He recruited and also raised money to give materials for the institute to be built. By Booker T. Washington's death, Tuskegee had more than 100 well-equipped buildings, 1,500 students, and a faculty of nearly 200 teaching, 38 trades and professions, and an endowment of approximately $2 million. During the Civil Rights era in the 1950s and 1960s, NAACP won major legal victories, and today the NAACP has more than 2,200 branches and 500,000 members worldwide. Although the achievement gap is constantly in effect, the gap between whites and Blacks in the education system started to decrease as schools started to become integrated in 1956. It wasn't until the 1970s and 80s where the gap began to narrow in education, occupation, parental income, and family resources. Black people are becoming both professional and successful entrepreneurs. Thanks to both Washington and Du Bois philosophies, our community can have a life in a system that was perpetually not assigned for us. Historical Black colleges were founded for our African American community. Although this is true, as of 2015, the percentage of Black students nationally dropped to 8.5